Alright.
Balcones.
Keeping with Balcones, let's take a look at the 100 proof rye.
Not only is it 100 proof, it's also 100%.
That nose.
It's dry, ton of dill.
But not like pickle, like dill leaf.
It almost smells kind of like a barnyard. Like, for me personally, like, it reminds me of like a wild ale, like a Belgian style wild ale.
It smells pretty grassy.
Funky it is, yeah. But I know that a lot of people don't know what that means, so like barnyard is the best way to put it. It's spicy. It's what's the best way to put it?
You don't get any.
It smells like a lot of cooking herbs, like thyme, and like we were talking about, like a medley of
thyme, parsley.
It smells like a medley of that, yeah.
Almost like you made a salad just with. It almost smells like a salad just straight up made with cooking spices.
Vinegar, cooking spices, and all that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I actually could see that. Anyways, for a rye, it's an enticing nose because if you want like a strong rye and like that deep rye spice and rye presence,
like really, really, really spicy rye. This is definitely ticking all the boxes right now.
And for 100%, that makes sense. 100% rye, that makes sense.
That's why it's different notes than like the Whistle Pigs, but it's sort of similar, except it's similar in the sense that it is very, very intense rye notes.
Yes.
It's just the Whistle Pig is like a bit more of a like a dill pickle type rye, and this is more of a dill, parsley, thyme,
and
bay leaf.
An interesting note to this is that it's 100% rye, but they did kiln the ryes differently. Like, there's some chocolate rye in here, there's some roasted rye in here. So, I don't know exactly what the proportions are, but there is, like, some of those in here, and people say,
so that's worth noting that might be where some of these differences are actually coming from.
Yeah, because it's not 100% of the exact same rye. They blended the rye with differently kilned ryes.
It's just 100% rye.
Yes. So.
Well, let's give it a try. Whoa.
I like that a lot. So
I do too. This is possibly the spiciest rye I've ever had.
So on the front end, it's very sweet, like a semi-sweet chocolate, like not brown sugar, but I get, and not caramel either, but like
almost like, I want to say like almost like the flavor.
I guess toffee, yeah. So like toffee, semi-sweet chocolate.
The finish is all spices. A little bit of cocoa.
Yeah, this is like straight up cocoa powder. Like the finish has a ton of cocoa powder, which makes sense because chocolate malted rye would mean cocoa on it.
It's like really intense too. Like usually the chocolate notes don't stand out that drastically.
But this it does. And like people say that, and I totally see why.
It makes me wonder if it's going to be kind of similar to the Woodford chocolate malted rye that exists.
I've heard people say awful things about that, so I don't know.
I have too. But it makes me curious as to if it's a similar idea.
Probably. Now that being said though, this is done superbly. Like, you get like semi-sweet chocolate.
You don't get a ton of like it smells a lot spicier than it tastes.
Yeah.
But that's just because on the palate the chocolate kind of counterbalances some of that. You still get some of that grassy kind of like.
I get more baking spice, so I get like cinnamon, allspice, nutmeg. I don't get a whole lot of herbal on this, like I do a lot of other ryes. Like this is like semi-sweet.
There's something I'm still getting.
It might be just the fact that it's a young whiskey, and you might be getting the youth of the whiskey.
It could be. That actually would make a lot of sense. You might be right on that.
Cause yeah, the spice
is so chocolatey.
I really like this.
I do too. This compared to the baby corn.
The baby blue, yeah.
The baby blue. This I didn't necessarily have my hopes up for this being as good as this is.
This is actually superb. Like this may be one of the better.
This is a $40 rye. This is like phenomenal for a $40 rye.
And it well earns that price tag. Like I would actually probably spend $60 on this rye. Balcones, don't listen to that.
I was about to say, Balcones, if you're listening, I wouldn't pay a cent over 30. Make it 30.
Balcones, if you're listening, please sponsor me.
If you're not listening, I would pay 60 for this.
But that being said, yeah, this is a very well done rye, and I mean, making ryes is a little bit easier than bourbon because you don't need as much age on a rye.
Right. And it still tastes a little young, even given that, but there's so much good flavor behind it that it's so easy to look past it. And
honestly, I feel like the doughy, grainy youth of it adds a little bit because it rounds it out.
It almost gives it like you're taking all the raw ingredients for a chocolate chip cookie.
The raw ingredients, yes. Like this, honestly, like
it tastes like you're taking the dough, you're taking the straight up cocoa.
Yep.
You're taking, a little bit of the sugar, a little bit of like the actual, the confections that you're actually putting into it to sweeten it.
Mm.
But you're still getting the chocolate almost completely replaces the rye bite that you smell.
Everything except for the allspice and nutmeg and stuff like that.
Right. Those make more sense to be
yes.
in. But that also that again can still play into making a cookie.
Yeah.
It honestly tastes like you disassembled a cookie, and that's the taste of this.
Yeah, no, it literally tastes like you were...
But it's not overly sweet, either.
No.
It's a very savory kind of it's not like a milk chocolate, it doesn't taste like a super sugary chocolate, it tastes like everything in its raw form before you've added any sugar to it.
Yeah, again, the sweetest...
Aside from maybe a little brown sugar. But.
The sweetest thing you get is on the front end, you get semi-sweet chocolate and toffee.
But it mellows out to cocoa.
It does.
It doesn't stay sweet.
It morphs into that cocoa powder and
maybe I'm buying this. If they have this at Chalet when I'm up there, maybe that's gonna be something.
Yeah, no, this is actually a rye worth getting. Younger ryes are better, in my opinion, because you get more of the...
It does help too that while it's young, it still is a Texas rye, and we know that the climate in Texas.
Well, that's where all the sweetness
comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah, it plays into it where you can get away with even a little less aging.
Well, you have to remember, this is probably a 2-year rye.
Right.
The Texas probably helped the fact that that's where the toffee comes from.
Then it probably, yeah.
So.
It's I don't want to say it's super, super complex, but it's very unique.
And also, the color of the bottle is, honestly really pretty. It's really dark, surprisingly.
But, yeah, even though the whiskey isn't the darkest thing in the world. Whiskey's it's like an amber.
Yeah, no, this honestly looks like a standard bourbon. But because it was aged in Texas, it added a lot of color to it. So, I can't say anything but good things about this. This blows their baby blue out of the water.
It makes me want to try their higher proof baby blue, or the higher proof corn whiskeys.
Well, not only that, they do have a cast strength of this rye, and I'm gonna try and find it.
Fuck.
So.
That's.
Balcones makes a very good case for craft whiskey outside of Kentucky, because the only craft whiskey that I've had and enjoyed was from Kentucky.
Yeah. New Riff, Rabbit Hole.
Yes. Balcones makes a good case.
Amador
is that Kentucky?
I think is it?
It might be.
I don't actually know.
I mean, I'll agree with that, because Amador Double
Clyde May is also a pretty decent one that's Georgia. But again, some of the decent ones that you're looking at are south.
Yeah, the further south you go, the easier it is.
There are some good ones to the north, but they're more good because they're unique. Like the Altered State that we tried, that was really, really unique. And I actually thought it was pretty pleasant. But again, it was...
It was also really aired out.
Right.
And I'm wondering how much air helped that. Because I have a good feeling that, the first month of that versus what we had would have been very, very, very different.
Right. I was going to say, the only other craft ones, they're all in hotter climate, aside from Kentucky. But it works.
It does.
Maybe I'm buying a bottle of this. Fuck.
This is one of that. So, Baby Blue was a bottle that I would buy a bottle of so that I could get trashed on it with my friends over poker or bonfire or whatever. This is the bottle from Balcones I would sit and sip on, without a doubt.
It's very different. Which I know we say a lot, but that's because we keep trying things that are very different.
And that's the thing too. We've been trying a lot of craft too recently, and that changes things drastically.
And it also helps you pick out what makes a good craft and what makes a mediocre craft. This is a good craft.
This is a very good craft.
But yeah, I mean, maybe I'm buying a bottle. Honestly,
Honestly,
this award, I don't know if it's gonna show.
Best Distiller.
Master Distiller of the Year.
I think that was 2020 or 2019.
It was. It does not say.
I'm gonna assume it was
19 or 20.
It was either 19 or 20.
But either way, buy it.